The UFC have announced they are returning back to China on November 23rd for UFC Fight Night Macau. In this video, I will give an overview of the fight card and also share some background stories for some of the local fighters fighting on the card. Check it out. The event takes place at the beautiful Galaxy Arena in Macau. It holds 16,000 people, and the ticket price is from 380 to 1,780 RMB. That is roughly 54 to 260 USD. So it's actually a very reasonable ticket price. And the fight card is solid from top to bottom with a lot of high-stake big fights. The main event is between two guys that needs no introduction. Former bantamweight champion Peter Yan versus former flyweight champion Davidson Figueiredo. And with the winner most likely getting the next shot at the bantamweight title after Umar. The co-main event is a women's strawweight bout between number 9 ranked Baby Shark Tabitha Ricci versus the number 2 ranked former title challenger Yan Xiaonan. A little background story on Yan. Yan Xiaonan, she started training Sanda when she was 15 and crossed over to MMA and was signed to the UFC in 2017. This will be her 12th fight in the UFC. She was a former Muay Thai champion, Wuling Feng champion, and ONE FC champion. And she has fought the who's who's in the division. And Tabitha Ricci has won 4 of her last 5 fights. And she's looking to get into title contention herself. So this will be a good fight. Next, we have 2 top 10 light heavyweights, Volkan Oezdemir versus Carlos Ulberg. Volkan Oezdemir has won 2 straight. He knocked out Johnny Walker in his last fight. And Carlos Ulberg from City Kickboxing has won 6 straight, knocking out Alonzo Manningfield in his last fight. And this is actually one of the fights on the card that I'm looking forward to the most. Then we have Muslim Salikov, the king of Kung Fu, versus Song Kenan. Muslim Salikov has fought a lot in Kunlun fights during his kickboxing days, so he has quite a bit of following among Chinese fans. For Song Kenan, this will be his 11th fight in the UFC. Song Kenan was an electrician before becoming a fighter, and he started training MMA in 2012 with no previous martial arts experience. After a run in the regional scene, he was one of the first groups of Chinese fighters selected to join the UFC PI Shanghai training camp. Half a year later, he made his UFC debut, TKOing Bobby Nash. So Song Kenan versus Muslim Salikov should be a solid action fight. Next on the main card, we have Chinese light heavyweight Zhang Mingyang, aka the Mountain Tiger, versus former LFA champion Ozzy Diaz. Zhang Mingyang is only 26 years old, and he is a promising prospect for the light heavyweight division. He only started his MMA career in 2015, but he started training martial arts in 2005. And he even went to train at the famous Shaolin Temple when he was 6 years old. He was later drafted into Shanxi national Sanda team and later crossed over to MMA. He won many regional MMA tournaments and championships before getting signed by the UFC. He knocked out his opponent at the road to the UFC Season 1 exhibition fight, earning his UFC contract. Zhang Mingyang trains out of the Xinjiang fight team with his team at Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand, and have also trained at Extreme Couture when he fights in the States. He has won 10 straight with all first-round finishes. His opponent, Ozzy Diaz, trains out of King's MMA, has a record of 9-2, and as a former LFA champion, has won all of his fights by way of stoppages, 7 in the first round. This will be his debut in the UFC, so this will be another banger fight. And in the main card opener, we have the Joker Wang Cong versus former LFA champion Gabriela Fernandez. Wang Cong was known for beating Valentina Shevchenko in their kickboxing fight years ago. Now Wang Cong has a 6-0 MMA record, and she has 2 highlight reel finishes on the road to the UFC, submitting one opponent and knocking out the other in 62 seconds. People are now invested in her story and want to see how she can work her way up to Valentina, just like Alex Pereira did to Izzy years ago. But her opponent, Gabriela Fernandez, fights out of MMA Masters. She's a former LFA flyweight champion. This will be her 4th fight in the UFC with a 2-1 record and she has 2 submission victories. So it will also be a big step up for Wang Cong. This will be all for the main card fights. I will do a separate videos for all the fighters competing in the road to the UFC tournament finals. Until next time.